Hello everyone, and again welcome to lesson 3 of CSS series. In our previous lesson we were able to look at the CSS selectors, and in this particular lesson we want to look at the 3 ways in which you can add CSS code into your HTML page. So there are 3 ways of adding a style sheet into our HTML page or HTML document. One is internal, using the internal CSS, and then another one is using the inline CSS, and another one is using the external CSS. So let's take time and look at each one of them one by one. The internal CSS is where we define the CSS styles within the style tag within the head section, and it is used to define the styles which is for one single page. The inline CSS is used to define the styles for a particular element or tag. It is added using the style attribute within that element. The external CSS, in this case, the styles are defined in a separate file, and that file is then linked to HTML document using the link tag. So with the external CSS, you can be able to apply the styles to your entire website. So with that theory said, let's get to practicality and see how we can add the CSS code using the inline CSS and using the internal CSS and using the external CSS, so that you're able to get the difference between these 3 ways. So let me turn over to my Visual Studio Code, and you can see this is our about page. And now when you go to our browser, you're going to see that this is the content of that page. And now I'm going to apply the styles, and the first I'm going to apply the style using the inline. So to apply the inline style, you want to define the style within the tag. So I want to come back to my code here, and I go to the body tag, and I apply the inline style to this tag. So I'm going to apply the style using the style attribute, and then within that style attribute, you can see there are so many styles that you can apply here. There are so many. So I'm going to apply the background style, and I say the background style color of this page should be aquamarine. And then when I save, I turn back to my Visual Studio, to the browser, and you're going to see that the background color has been applied. So this way of adding a style within the tag is what we are calling it the inline format. The second way of adding a style within this HTML document is using the internal format. So with the internal format, instead of defining this style here, you can add it within the head section. So within the head section, we're going to use the style tag, and then within the style tag, we can now select the element that we want to style. So here I can say body, and then I apply the background color, and I say maybe the background color this time round, let me say this color right here. And then I'm going to remove now this style from inline, since I've already applied using internal. So now when I save, you're going to see now this style will be applied to the body tag, because we have selected this element and we have applied this style. So now when you go back to a browser, you're going to see that the background color of the body has changed. The next format of adding the CSS code is using the external file. So with the external file, I'm going to create a different file again within the page here. So I'm going over here, and then I'm going to create a new file, and I'm going to give it a name. Let me say about page style, about page style.css. So this naming will show that this style that I will define here will be applied to the about page, and now it should have the extension .css, and then press enter, and this file has been created here. So within this file, I'm going to select any of the element which is inside here. So I'm going to select the body, and I say the body should have a background color of let me say this blue violet, and then I'm going to save. Now to have this style applied in my about page, I need to link this about page style to the about page HTML. So I can come now, instead of defining the background color again within the style tag, I can remove this, and then I'm going to link. How do we link? Below the title tag, you're going to link this file, and you're going to use the link tag, and within this link tag you're going to define the relationship, and the relationship in this case is going to be the style sheet. And then you're going to define the href, which is the source of that file that contains the style. And since this file and this HTML page are in the same folder, we just refer the file name. So the file name that contains the style, CSS style, is about page.css, this right here. Then you're going to save, and once it is saved, now this style, whatever style you define here, will be applied to this body, to this about page, I mean. So now when you go back to your browser, you're going to see that the background has been changed to blue violet color. This way of applying CSS is what we are calling the external file or external CSS. So with this external CSS, you can have one style defined in one place, and you can apply it in multiple pages. So we can see we have applied this style to the about page. We can as well apply it even to the application page.html. So when we come to application page.html, below here we can as well link that file, that same file, and we're going to define relationship, and it says style sheet, and then we are going to define the href, and we're going to call it about page CSS. And now when I open the the application page now using a live server, you're also going to see that the application page also has the same style of the background color. So the advantage of the external file is that it helps you to define a style in one location, and then you can apply it across your website and across your web pages. Alright, so with that said, I want to pause this lesson here, and then in the next lesson we're going to look at the next CSS property called the color. Otherwise, thank you for joining the class, and see you in the next lesson.